Hello everyone, it's Mr.Stinkler and I hope all is well. In today's video I'll be breaking down the story and characters of Outlast Whistleblower. Let's begin. The game begins with us being tied down to a chair. It appears that we're going to be undergoing the Whistleblower experiment, and on the screen in front of us there will be psychological visual stimuli to make us crazy. The doctors are harassing us, but before they could continue, they are called that there has been a containment breach. It goes back in time to where we see us writing an email to Miles. In fact, we are Wayland Park, the person who leaked Miles all the information about the asylum. And right now we are writing the email and sending it to him. As we were writing the email, we were interrupted to come help with the morphogenic engine. See, Wayland Park is a software engineer who works at Murkoff. Well, actually it was a contract, so he never really knew what was happening, until now where he realizes all the torture. Wayland Park has a wife and 2 children. Will he be able to fight his way out to see them again? Who knows? As we're fixing up the software, we see a patient being dragged into the morphogenic engine. He's freaking out and screaming for help. Now this patient we'll actually see again. He's able to break free from their grasp and runs up to us begging for help. But we can't do anything about it. But leak the information to Miles. So we low-key are a hero. Let's be so real. We see the patient put in the morphogenic engine, and we see firsthand how they get disfigured. Look at his skin changing, pigments and growing blisters. Absolutely brutal. We're told to leave. And of course we do, because not listening to Murkoff will have you killed. We make it back to our laptop, but we've been caught. Jeremy Blair, a Murkoff executive, caught on to us. Sadly, this is the worst case scenario. They put us into treatment, and we are now a patient of the asylum. We flash back to present time. As you can see, we're now in like our prison uniform, or asylum uniform rather, and the containment breach has fully happened and the wall rider is out. The variant next to us gets absolutely obliterated in front of us, and we're let out by another variant. Making our way through the asylum, we see guards killing variants, but we also witness this little gang of variants killing a scientist, and he asks us to stab the doctor, but of course we're not crazy. Thankfully they let us pass, but he threatens us big time, so we run out of there. Climbing our way up a vent, we actually hear 2 Murkoff employees talking about how they can escape, and we overhear them saying that there is a 2-way radio to contact for help, so that's our next goal. Finding a button, we press it so that we can get through. Sadly, this doctor runs into a variant, and he gets what he deserves for torturing all these people. I wouldn't say innocent, but again, it's an asylum, right? Some of these people could just be mentally ill. And it's actually very heartbreaking if you think about it, all these people who need help getting taken advantage of and tortured. Quite sad. But that doctor gets destroyed, and we make our way out of here. Stepping over the doctor's body, we find a doctor running to an exit, and we're so close to escape, but these bastards, they lock us in. So now we gotta find an alternate route. I also think it's a cool detail seeing all these dead variants just down. They did not want us to escape. As we traverse a cafeteria full of dead bodies, we run into this bastard. We'll be meeting him again shortly, but he likes to eat people. He's a cannibal, and he's a douchebag. We find what could be our exit, but sadly a variant is locked up to it, so now we need to find the key to the handcuffs to get out of here. Picking up the key from a dead officer, we're able to unlock the handcuffs and make our way closer to an exit. As we're making our way through the furnace room, we're jumped by the cannibal, whose name is Frank Minera. Now, Frank Minera was actually a cannibal before the asylum. We know this through documents we find. And he's actually so skinny because he refused to eat real food. There was something mentally wrong with him to where he can only eat human flesh. Now, I don't know if it's just him being a sadistic psychopath or there's a genuine mental disease. Whatever it is, we're able to escape him through breaking through a wall. Finding our way to an airlock, we realized it's shut and locked and the gas is pouring into it. So now we need to find a valve and turn it off so that we can pass through it and make it to the courtyard. We find a path over another airlock system. Following it, we find the valve and we're able to turn it, meaning the airlock that was locked before is now completely unlocked and we're able to pass through it. Making our way through the courtyard, we see variants playing basketball with a severed head. I just find it crazy that, well, I found all this crazy, but mainly I can't believe that all of this has happened so fast. Just wow. After dealing with the courtyard section, we finally make it back inside to where we find the radio. Of course, we try to contact it, and at first it seems successful, 911 picks us up, but then Jeremy Blair, this little douchebag, finds us and destroys everything because, again, he can't let any of this get out or see enough Murkoff. And he tries to kill us, but then our good old friend Chris Walker interrupts us, and Jeremy Blair, being just an absolute hero, leaves us to him. So yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. Now, we've seen Jeremy Blair a few times, so I'm just going to simply explain him. He's not a very in-depth character, but he's still such a good character because he's just a corporate douchebag, and he's just evil. So, Blair is an executive vice president of global project development at Murkoff Corporation, and he's the head of the Mount Massive Asylum operations, which includes the morphogenic engine experiments, which is why he fights to the end to make sure that Weyland doesn't escape, because he's in charge, and he doesn't want his ass to be grass when it comes to the other Murkoff agents. We're able to escape Chris Walker by jumping out a window, and now we're in the courtyard again, but a different section of it. And this section is quite eerie. It's not a lot happens in it. It's just very silent, which is quite different from the alarms and the variants and Chrissy poo. It's eerie, and it just makes the game that much more scary. It's just a great detail. We have to turn off the electrical gate, and then we're jumped by a variant because Weyland seems to have the same luck as Miles, where we get beat up by everything we come in contact with. We're able to outrun him because Weyland is just him. We reach the top of a tower and we see the front of the asylum. All we have to do is traverse the roof and get the hell out of here. We make a huge jump. Sadly, the weight can't support us, and we fall through the roof, surviving, of course, because Weyland is just the goat. And now we have to traverse the attic. Making our way through the attic, we run into this patient named Dennis, who has multiple personality disorder. I know it's called something else now, but I just can't put my finger to the name of it. And Dennis has been preaching about us being the bride to a groom. We're going to figure out that very soon. This part is also cool because we've never really been to this part of the asylum in the first part of the game, like in Outlast. This is the DLC. And so it's just a nice change of scenery. It's new colors are used. It's blue. The tones are just different. And we make ourselves to the workshop where we're going to run into someone we're going to hate to see. As we open the door, we see a familiar face. Remember the patient we saw in the very first part of the game? The person who got put into the morphogenic engine? This is him. His name is Eddie Gluskin. And he is the most disturbing character in the entire game. And I'll stand by that. And so now, I'll explain this creepy bastard. Eddie's story is very disturbing and triggering, so if you don't want to listen to it, just skip forward a little bit. As a child, he was essayed by his father and uncle, which contributed to severe psychological trauma and a delusional worldview. To cope, he fantasized he grew up in a wholesome home. This coping mechanism, if you want to call it, warped his understanding of love and relationships. I mean, can't blame him. He was abused and tormented by people who he called family. Before being admitted to Mount Massive Asylum, he was already a serial killer who hunted down and mutilated women. He did not have responsibility for their death, insisting they were only sleeping. So already you see him in a delusional world. He probably didn't even know what he was doing was wrong. He thought it was normal because all the trauma probably put him into some psychological insanity. I honestly wouldn't put that far away. He was committed to Mount Massive Asylum. His crimes were not punishable by life in prison. Instead, he was put into the asylum because clearly he was mentally unstable. And this is what led to Murkoff's experiments. You know, when you come here, you're just going to be experimented on. He is obsessed with finding a bride to start a family. And a really gruesome detail is that he kidnaps males because, again, there's no females in Mount Massive Asylum because the morphogenic engine causes phantom pregnancies, and that's a no-no. So he kidnaps guys and he mutilates their genitals, quite like Traeger. He does surgeries to give them breasts. Very disturbing, and he's very disgusting. And I'm so sorry I had to explain this to you. Escaping from Gluskin, we hide in a locker, but he finds us. And he takes us to his workshop. Eddie knocks us out with some gas. And now time passes. And it's important to tell you that during this time that's passing, Miles is now currently in the asylum exploring. And we'll see that detail a little bit further in the story. But yeah, so by this point in the game, Miles is now in the asylum and exploring. So I think it's pretty cool seeing how the stories line up. And now we see Gluskin mutilating the men and torturing them to make a perfect bride. Eventually, it's our turn to be mutilated, and Eddie prepares to, well, remove our genitals. But this W variant absolutely knocks the shit out of Eddie. But Eddie is also just incredibly strong, and he's able to chase after that variant. But God bless that variant. So now we're able to escape whatever was going to happen and try to escape Eddie. As Eddie chases us, we find a window, thank God, and we jump out of it. Somehow, our leg is still functioning. But we've escaped it for now. As we explore, we find an exit gate, which is locked, so now we need to find the key. We find ourselves in a gym, with bodies hanging from it. These are all of Eddie's victims. He mutilated them and strung them up like pieces of trash, which is how he calls them. On these bodies, you can see mutilation scars. You can see the genitals chopped off and sewn on breasts. Truly just disgusting. We find a makeshift altar, clearly the work of Eddie, and we find his bride. And the bride has a key, and then Eddie finds us. So now we gotta run for our lives. Running to the exit as best as we can with her injured leg, we open it. Then Eddie grabs us and beats us down. He sends us to the gym where he plans to hang us. He strings us up, and now we get a full view of these horribly mutilated bodies. And he tries to hang us. We try to struggle out from the noose as best we can. Because we ain't dying, man. We gotta see our wife and kids again. But also, we gotta take down Murkoff. As we struggle, the roof starts to give out. He pulls us back up. He really wants us dead. We've clearly ruined his day. But we're able to fight it out. Sadly, well, not sadly, Thankfully, he dies. Sadly, Miles couldn't fight his way out because he was ganged up on by armed personnel. But we're able to kill Eddie, saving plenty of lives. As we're escaping, we see Murkoff personnel and Traeger. So, as of now, Miles has been through the asylum. Waylon is so close to the exit now. Look, see this familiar place? Where Miles' journey began and ours is ending. As we run down the stairs, we see doors locked off by Murkoff personnel who are clearing out the asylum, shooting everything on sight, and we find Jeremy Blair. Haha, bastard. And then this douchebag stabs us. Because clearly Waylon is an idiot. And just was like, oh yeah, Jeremy Blair's totally not going to kill us. And before he can kill us, the Wall Rider saves our asses, killing Jeremy Blair in a very brutal but well-deserving way. We're able to exit through the doors, and wow, this scene, when I first played it, I was so happy. I never would have thought we were going to be able to escape the asylum after everything we've been through. But, man, I just feel bad for Miles. I loved Miles. Even though he's a silent protagonist, I just love him. I love Miles. There's nothing to say about it. But before we can exit with Miles' Jeep, we see the Wall Rider. And heartbreakingly, it's the silhouette of Miles. So we now know that Miles clearly has recently died. But thankfully, we're able to escape the asylum. Time skips, and we're now with this mysterious figure. We are now processing the files that we took from Murkoff and the recording, of course. And we sacrifice our lives and selfishly our children's lives, but it's for the greater good by leaking the recording. And that is the end of Outlast Whistleblower. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I did this game justice. What a phenomenal series, and what a phenomenal DLC. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Thank you.